Joining me now, former Deputy National Security Advisor to George W. Bush and an MSNBC Senior National Security Analyst, Juan Zarate. Juan, welcome back to the broadcast. Good morning to you, sir. So how big a deal is this? Do you think there was a breach of security procedure?
Well, good morning, Alex. Certainly there wasn't a breach in terms of the president ordering the security clearance. He has that authority. Right. He has the authority to determine what's classified or not, who has clearances, and certainly who speaks on his behalf or is an envoy. So he has that right, which makes some of his denials a little puzzling, right? But what is interesting here, and you've already covered some of this earlier in your program, is, what were the concerns that the intelligence community and the FBI had with respect to giving Jared Kushner these clearances? Were there particular elements of leverage that foreign intelligence services or foreign counterparties would have over him? And in particular, with respect to the portfolios that he is covering for the president and the United States? Issues related to Middle East peace, the relationship with Saudi Arabia. Jared Kushner has played a very constructive, important role in NAFTA and relations with Mexico and Latin America. So what are those concerns? And so all of this turmoil raises the question, what were those concerns? And are those concerns even more valid or troubling today, given the role that Mr. Kushner plays? And so all of that now is a swirl, because there's a question as to why he was granted these clearances and what role the president played. So
essentially, as we were saying in the last block, Juan, it's about following the money, right? It's because they're concerned that foreign entities could potentially hold him up to a level of blackmail, maybe not that specifically, but say, look, hey, we gave you this. And, it's a money thing. And also the fact that Jared Kushner had to refile his papers attempting to get a security clearance, all the information, 3 times? I mean, he had to keep going back to, what about this? I got to put that on. I mean, it just looks bad. But why would the president lie about it? I mean, because you're right, he can offer the security clearance to him.
Right. I think, there's been sensitivities around, nepotism. He has Jared Kushner. He has Ivanka next to him serving as policy advisors, important roles. So, perhaps the White House is, incredibly sensitive about any, further appearance of nepotism. This kind of looks like that, feels like that. The president, I think, has been conditioned to think, I can't overreach on some of these investigations, right? He's been stung quite a bit on that. So maybe he's thinking, look, I shouldn't be perceived to be intervening on things that have a normal course to them, like security clearances. But who knows? But the president had the authority to do this. I think the problem, of course, as we're saying, it raises questions of leverage and trust. It's what leverage do foreign counterparties have over Jared Kushner that raised the initial concerns? Have those gotten worse over time? And this question of trust, not the president's trust of Jared Kushner, but the intelligence community's trust, and even Jared Kushner's trust of the intelligence community.
Yeah.
One of the things that you do with a security clearance is not only receive information and hopefully get the most information available to help the president, to help with the decision-making, but you also do things with that information. You share it with counterparties. You come back and you share information with the intelligence community about your communications. And so if there's a rupture in that trust, that then raises questions of effectiveness, raises further questions of leverage. Do foreign counterparties know more about Jared Kushner than the intelligence community? So all of this just creates too many questions, and now you've got Congress involved.
And I'm looking at a report from the Washington Post. This is from February of last year, in which it states that Jared Kushner, apart from staff on the National Security Council, issues more requests for information to the intelligence community than any White House employee. Why would he be asking for so much intelligence?
Well, that could be innocuous, right? He's got very wide-ranging portfolio. So he's negotiating Middle East peace. So he needs to see not just what's happening with Israel and Palestinian authorities, what's happening on the ground, what they're saying, doing, but also what other key partners in the Middle East are saying, doing, what big actors like the Chinese and Russians are trying to do. All of that, can be innocuous, but in the swirl of investigations and questions about whether or not he should have the highest level clearances, it does raise questions of what is he asking and for what purposes, and should he be seeing some of these things?
And Juan, is there any way that Jared Kushner could have already caused some damage?
You know, it's hard for me to tell, but, you know, at a minimum, this question of the rupture of trust, I think, is important, because whoever the president puts out there to represent him and the U.S. government and the American people has to be effective, right? They have to have the best information possible. They have to be trusted by elements of the intelligence community that have to produce answers to questions, analytic pieces, even collect new information on your behalf to try to make the best policy decisions possible. So at a minimum, I don't know if people have leverage over him or if information's been conveyed in improper ways. Who knows? I don't know yet. But the question of this trust and effectiveness is upon us. And I think that's really going to be the first order question for Jared Kushner and the president.
I very much appreciate your analysis, Juan Zarate. Come see me again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.